Welcome back to Guitar Search Saturdays. My name's Shane.
I'm Rhiannon, howdy.
Rhiannon's here helping out today. We're in McKinney, Texas, in the Adriatic Village, checking out the Guitar Sanctuary. Now this guitar store, much like the area that we're standing in, is stunning.
It's something else.
It's unlike anywhere else that I've showcased on the channel up until this point. It's just absolutely beautiful. Brian, the store manager, is going to give us a tour around and talk a little bit about the store as well. And then we're going to talk to the owner, George, who put together a lot of what you see around you right now.
Yeah,
So,
it's something else. He built this. Yeah.
It is really a special place to come. So if you're in the area of Dallas, make your way up to McKinney here and check out the Guitar Sanctuary. Now this video is not sponsored. We didn't take any money or anything like that to put this together. We're checking out one of the most impressive guitar stores to date. So
Absolutely.
I'll link down to the Guitar Sanctuary down in the description or on screen here, and feel free to check them out online or visit them if you're in the area. You ready to get out of the heat?
Yeah, have a good time, y'all. It's an amazing store.
You're already turning Texan. Everything from the entrance to this ginormous door is really unique to the Guitar Sanctuary. Its style is unlike anywhere else I've seen so far, and we'll walk you through all of what the Guitar Sanctuary has to offer, because it's not just another guitar store. This episode encompasses what Guitar Search Saturdays is all about. Finding the best guitars, the best guitar shops, and showcasing them with you guys. As you can no doubt tell already, the shop is very different visually and architecturally to anything else that I've been to. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Brian's going to be our official tour guide for today, and I hope you get a kick out of this. He's a wealth of really great information. Let's get into it. So this is Brian from the Guitar Sanctuary. Thank you for letting us through. It's
of course.
Beautiful shop. It stood out like nothing else when we were researching guitar shops in the area, and it's more impressive in person. So
Thank you. That's always a great way, great to hear, and that's kind of the idea. It needs to be different than what you're used to experiencing when you go into most retail or most guitar stores.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely stunning. So if you can, just talk us through a little bit about what you've got and, you know, the design of the place, anything you want to share with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll follow you around.
So our owner, George, and his wife, Maylee. George is a custom home builder and building contractor by trade, but he's also a passionate musician. And he wanted to essentially create the store he wanted to shop at, where it would be that ultimate destination for the nicer side of stuff, a store that would specialize more in like custom instruments and unique offerings and things from custom builders that are really passionate about what they're doing and aren't necessarily building to a price point or something, but they're building what they think is the best stuff. And George wanted to present it in a way where we kind of represent it like the art form it really is, as opposed to just trying to cram everything into tight spaces or see how many things we can stack up. You know, we're presenting the guitars to you as opposed to trying to cram as many into one space as we can.
What you're looking at is the rooftop to the acoustic room. That's right, there's a dedicated, isolated acoustic room. Not only is this room spectacular, but the acoustic quality of it is off the charts. Check it out.
Oh yeah, how's this, huh? This is stunning. So this would resonate beautifully in here. I can tell by the acoustics on my voice. My voice never sounds this good.
Yeah, you know, people always say, oh, well, it's never going to sound this good at home, or I can't tell the difference. But we say, well, you're playing all of them side by side in the same space, so they're all, it's a fair comparison. As you can see, we present the guitars to you somewhere in between the way like a museum or an art gallery would do it. With all the front-facing stuff. George had custom wall mounts made that he designed with them so that we can really kind of show off the guitars. Our specialty tends to be a little more in the custom side, but we do some of the production pieces from some of our favorite builders as well. But where we really try and kind of shine is all those things that you say, boy, I can only ever see that in a magazine, or I'd normally only ever see this online, and you've never had a chance to play it in person. With it. So we tend to go out of our way with those types of things.
I noticed you've got some Clarkes over here.
We do.
From my home city.
We actually do. From your neck of the woods, we do.
I've never seen that one with the two single coils before. That's killer.
So
and the humbucker.
That's their guitar called a true hybrid in every sense that it is. it actually is a true melding of a fully functioning acoustic electric guitar with Clarke's
cool, man.
3-voice acoustic pickup, but it really has electric guitar pickups. There's been various vendors do hybrid kind of ideas like this.
Yeah.
The tricky part usually is they're almost always set up for doing electric guitar strings so that it works properly with the electric pickups, which means you are trading off a bit of the acoustic voice. Clarke decided to take that whole idea on and challenge it, and they made a brand new set of proprietary pickups that they have a patent on their design, where these pickups are engineered to work properly with bronze strings, where they actually degauss the magnets completely, and then they have a special process where they actually magnetize each pole piece separately for that string, so that you really get full electric performance as well. So you've got 2 sets of output jacks so that you can run your acoustic out to your traditional DI or acoustic amp or right into the board. And then you've got a separate out for the electric pickups with it. And we've got a 3-way that toggle that lets you go between the acoustic voice by itself, or a blend with the electric voice, or just the electric voice by itself. Wow. You can do humbucker and 2 single coils. You can do 3 single coils. You can do 2 humbuckers with them. So
yeah, it's great. I had
really
to travel all the way to Texas to see a Clarke I've never seen before. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I noticed you got a huge selection of Taylors and Martins as well. It's stunning.
We do. We do a lot with both of those brands. Obviously, the 2 probably most well-known American brands at this point, both in their production stuff. But then we also like to do a lot of stuff with them from their custom shop, where we can kind of come up with some great design ideas with them, do some things in some non-traditional wood sometimes, or custom sizes or things. So like custom small body, slot head, redwood top.
Yeah, beautiful.
Rosewood back and sides, ultimate finger picker kind of guitar.
What's your favorite acoustic guitar in here personally, if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one, all of them are great at something. They all do a certain voice. I recently had the privilege to go to the Taylor factory and do some special guitars. I've known Bob Taylor for over 30 years now, and I went and did a batch of guitars at their factory where Bob spent the morning with me, and we picked out woods and we just designed guitars together. I would ask Bob, we'd go through the stack of wood and find some amazing piece, and I'd say, okay, Bob, what would you build with this? And he'd go, oh, well, this should be this size or that thing. And I'd go, well, let's build that. So this particular one has some of the most stunning koa that I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's something else.
It's their master grade koa back and sides. It's got a stunning bear claw Engelmann spruce top, which you don't usually see that type of figuring on Engelmann. It's got their custom vine inlay, but I had them do it in koa to match the back and sides. And as Bob and I were putting these together, and it was all wood selected by Bob, I said, hey, it'd be really great if we could do something custom to signify that. So this is part of the first ever guitars to have the B. Taylor insignia on them.
Wow. Yeah.
So Bob did a custom signature work and had them work it to be able to do it as an inlay. And it's now going to start kind of a series from them where it'll signify a custom guitar where Bob picked the woods.
Yeah, great.
That'll be the only way you'll be able to get that on your guitar.
The back looks great, but this top looks amazing too. That's it's very cool.
Yeah, you normally don't see this level of bear claw in any top, and let alone on an Engelmann spruce top.
Bear claw, nice.
So that one's particularly special to me because I got to be involved in the build. That's the fun process for us, for our members of our staff. Start with a blank slate and kind of end up with a truly custom piece at the other end.
Yeah, that's unreal. All right. We don't normally do it this way, but it works better this time because you know way more than anyone else I've met. So
you can see all of our custom pedal displays when we designed this building. We started out in a smaller version of our store, still also here in Adriatica, but in more of a strip center with them. But George always had the vision of building this version of the store and having our venue next door. Cool. So when we designed this version, we really wanted to present pedals in a different kind of way than you normally see. So we actually have them out. They're not in a glass case. They're not something we have to pull them out. You can walk over and pick it up and look at it and touch it.
This is a first. I very rarely see it unless it's like a sort of second-hand, cheapy section somewhere. So this is great. This is all great stuff, by the way.
George custom made these for us so that we could have a nice way to display them, and you could kind of see them, and they're all felt lined so we can protect the pedals.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then we have back stock of pedals within all of our cabinets, all below them.
Cool.
With all the different ones. We do a lot with a lot of custom pedal builders and things with it. At any given moment, we stock 12 to 1,400 pedals.
These are some of my favorite, the Origin Effects pedals.
Origin Effects are some of our favorites as well.
Just reviewed this and these two, that one and this one recently. Just
exceptional
fantastic.
tone, exceptional build quality. They're a great example of the kind of builders we like to work with, where they're not the most inexpensive pedal to buy, but you can take a look at the just amazing build quality and feel the weight of it and know that this thing is made for years and years of touring. And that they're going for the ultimate in sound. They're not cutting a corner or using a component that would be $3 cheaper because it would make them extra money. They're using the part that's going to give the best possible sound, and it's going to cost what it's going to cost.
So some might say this could be some of the best guitars around. You got Suhr, Collings, which I don't often see. Beautiful. We don't see a whole lot of that in Australia at all.
With
Duesenberg, is that right? Over
Duesenberg?
There? Yeah.
Yep, one of our favorite brands. We do a ton with our friends at Paul Reed Smith.
Oh, wow, look at that. I didn't even see that. That's crazy. Is that a 10 top?
This is a private stock. So this is from their ultimate selections of woods. This is another one where I was fortunate to go to the factory and hand select all the woods for this guitar.
Ooh, scared to touch that one. That's beautiful.
Private Stock is their ultimate dream shop. So they have their import line, the SEs, which are great for somebody who's getting started and cutting their teeth.
Yeah, I got one of them.
Needs to be at a lower price point. Yeah. They have their S2, which is their first tier of USA production. They have their core level of stuff. If you're a signature dealer, they also have Wood Library, which expands some of the range of options. Cool. And then Private Stock is the pinnacle. This is the ultimate dream shop where you said, boy, I really wish PRS would make a ... Well,
I got to shout out my friend Dom. He's got 10 PRS guitars. He loves them. And
only 10?
Yeah.
We need to get him on we need to get him cracking. Come on, Don. Step up to the plate.
Wow, that is absolutely stunning. Yeah, the neck, even the fretboard. I've never seen one like that before. That's
This is their birds of a feather inlay pattern.
Do you just want to get a close up of that while we got it down?
Yeah, it's transitioning from ebony to maple, and we had them stain it to match the top as well.
Cool.
As well as the back of the neck.
That neck's like insane. Looks so good.
So as we kind of walk our wall here, we've got a couple more PRS private stocks.
Yeah.
Custom archtop from our friends at Eastman Guitars.
Oh, yeah, nice. Man, they make beautiful guitars.
Nik Huber Guitars from Germany. Small.
Is that a Twangmeister?
So this one is his new Pete guitar, named after one of his sons. These two are the Krautster model. This is the Krautster 3 guitars.
I played a few of these several years ago in a lefty, and they were some of the best. The Orca, I think, was one of my favorite of all time. That was great.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Collings guitars. They're Julian Lage 470 JL.
That is beautiful.
That's they do their I-30. You can get aged finishes from them these days, or fully glossed. This is a baritone electric that they do.
Oh yeah, nice.
Our friends at Duesenberg Guitars from Germany. One of our favorite brands. Really fantastic at sitting in a mix. Great if you're playing in a band that's multi-piece. You see them a lot in the modern worship circuit, which is very, very big here in Texas. With them, they sit really nicely in a mix for that stuff. So if you're doing a complicated setup with a couple acoustic guitars, a couple electric guitars, keys, bass, drums, lots of vocals, that thing, it's a guitar that will really sit nicely that way.
Beautiful.
That's why they have signature artists like Joe Walsh from the Eagles and things that play their guitars.
Don't mind me asking, what's this pickup here?
So this guitar is they call this one lovingly the Senior, kind of the evolution of the Junior. This pickup is a variant of their Split King idea. So underneath the hood of this, there's actually two pickups inside here. That's a traditional single coil and a full humbucker in here. And it has a 3-way lever switch that allows you to choose just the single coil just the humbucker, or you can actually combine both.
Yeah, cool.
So it's a more evolved version of that design. Still that kind of simple rock and roll stripped down simplicity, but with a bit of extra bonus sounds and switch. So depending on how you set your amp, this can be your gain staging.
Yeah.
As you go.
Get to the humbucker, it gets louder and more gnarly.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Far out.
We do a bunch with our friends at the Fender Custom Shop.
Oh yeah.
Another one of those options where, you know, if you can dream it, they can probably build it for you. And they do a lot of stuff, both in their aged stuff, the relic guitars and things like that, but also things in the NOS finishes where it's new old stock, as if comes from their Time Machine series. The idea behind that is you got on a time machine, you went to that specific year, you grabbed that guitar, you got back in your time machine, and you're right here now. Versus relic is more like, hey, your uncle got this guitar brand new back in the day and played it all until this time, and then you got it from him. So it's going to have all of the wear and play.
I thought you were about to say
vibe.
they dragged it from the back of a car.
There's a little bit of that stuff too. Part of the beauty of what Fender does in their relicking, and obviously a lot of people focus on the cosmetic wear, but they do a lot to sonically age the guitar as well, in the way they do the finish process, the way that they handle the bodies, the way that they degauss the magnets of the pickups, so that it really captures the tone of an old guitar as well.
The standout for me with the custom shop is the feel of the necks. They get it right. Like they just feel so good straight away. They really nail the custom shop.
And they do a lot of different neck profiles and things to it. So if your favorite guitar that you always played was your Strat or Tele or Jaguar or Jazzmaster from a specific year, chances are they do a relic version that has that specific shape, or can build one for you so that it has that ultimate feel for you. Over here is some stuff from some of our favorite kind of what you consider the high performance builders. Guitars from our friends at James Tyler Guitars. There's a huge resurgence these days in interest in all of the like 80s session guitar players, the people like Dan Huff and the Steve Lukethers of the world. And there's a whole new generation discovering that music, but also the proficiency of those players. So demand for the Floyd Rose is back with a vengeance. Demand for things that you get a little bit more exotic wiring with, things like booster circuits and a mid boost and a preamp and series parallel switches, is all kind of coming back into favor and back into popularity. With builders,
that's a great finish, by the way. That looks awesome. It's like dipped in something, right?
They refer to that as their schmear finishes, and they have a myriad of various versions of them. They have a great Instagram channel where they do a weekly painter section where they pull out a bunch of the bodies that they've just painted for you to kind of pick what's your favorite schmear. And even we watch it to go, ooh, that's one we should do. That's a cool option that we should try. And they're willing to, if you come to them and say, hey, my father's favorite two colors were this and this, could we do a schmear based on that? They'll try it and do it for you too.
I think they probably got the most distinctive headstock
they do.
I can think of.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, these are beautiful guitars too. I played some of these in the past.
So these are from our friends at Tom Andersen. Like Tyler, Tom Andersen doesn't have a custom shop. They are a custom shop. Every guitar is built to order. There is no standard version. You start out with, I want this model with these woods, with this neck shape, with this radius, with this tuners, and this pickup layout, and this wiring and thing, and design it all from scratch. And they'll do a ton of custom wiring options where it's literally, okay, how are we going to figure out that circuit? And we talk with Roy at Andersen. So like, all right, I'm going to design the schematic and put the notes in this for the build team so they can do it exactly how you want it.
That's fantastic. My eyes don't know where to go here. I'm like looking at the guitars, I'm looking at the cabinets behind the guitars.
Absolutely.
Everything that leads up here. You got more guitars upstairs, which we'll take a look at in a minute.
We do.
Now, if you're waiting for the amplifier section of the video, here we are. And this amp room has a whole lot going on. Let's check it out.
As George deemed it, this is our tone library.
Oh, yeah. I like it. Speaking my language. All right, thanks. All right. Cool, man.
So with our amp room, we really wanted to step up the game of how amps get presented and to display them more properly, and also come up with easy ways for demonstration with them. So with
So much good stuff in here.
with our bass amp rig, we've got a selector here where we can choose which head is driving which cabinet, so you can compare on the fly with them. With our
that's a great idea.
Guitar rigs, we worked with the fine folks at KHE Audio Electronics. They're actually in Switzerland.
Oh, yeah?
We're not a dealer for them. They don't have dealers, but we tell people about them all the time because they're so great and they were so great to work with. So the beauty of this is I can plug in your one cable into your guitar, and then we can choose whichever head or combo and cabinet that you want to run.
Nice.
So we choose your cabinet, and then we can choose your amp. Whatever we have over here in the effects loop, like the delay pedal, whichever amp you're on, we can have the delay follow the amp with it.
Wow.
And so it's an easy to do a side-by-side comparison.
That's fantastic.
At shops I've worked at before, in typical thing, if you say like, hey, I want to compare this cabinet to this cabinet, we're saying, okay, we're going to play this one. All right, hang on, let's put the amp back on standby. Let me go back in the back. Let's unplug the cable. Let's move the cable over. Let's get it plugged in. Now let's bring it back off standby. Well, by the time we do that, you forgot what that one sounded like. And at a lot of shops, maybe they forgot to plug the cable back in properly or that stuff. So with us, it's beautiful. We can just literally click a switch.
I noticed you got a couple of Two-Rock amps over here too, which is something we don't often come in contact with back home.
We do.
This looks
the team at Two-Rock are amongst our favorite builders out there.
This is like crazy.
So Two-Rock's one of those builders that, like a lot of our vendors, that really represents what we're looking for, where, hey, it's an expensive amp, but it's built in a hand-wired way using the best possible components, and they're not cutting any corners for the sake of trying to make something cheaper or easier to produce. They're going to use the parts in it that make it sound the best, and that's part of the demand with them. And they were owned for a little while by a conglomerate that was trying to kind of go, well, hey, maybe we should do an amp that fits this price point or that price point, and trying to go down market to a degree. And it kind of was hurting their brand. And when it was sold and Mac and Eli purchased it, and they relaunched it with their new flagship amp, the Classic Reverb Signature, which I think at that time was the most expensive amp they'd made, and went on this new formula, their sales went through the roof. Because the customer wants to buy this, wants it to just be the best of the best.
That's exactly right.
And their attention to detail, their attention to tone, their focus as players, you can really tell when you play one of their amps that a player really worked on this design and understands that. And it's something it's an inspiring amp to play.
Yeah, they've got a sort of feel and a 3D sound in the room a lot of amps don't have. Yeah, it's probably as close as you could get to like the Dumble thing, but a slightly different kind of vibe as well.
And it's like a lot of builders, there was definitely some of that inspiration, especially in a lot of their early designs. I think what's great with Two-Rock is that they've evolved now to where they kind of have their own thing now too. It's tricky for all of the amp companies because there's tones that we're all familiar with from all the albums we've grown up listening to and things. And so it's hard for guitar players to step away from the classic Fender or Vox or Marshall tones that you're used to. And Dumble was like maybe that fourth variant kind of thing. So a lot of builders have, start somewhere with that as the starting point place, and then try and work on their take. And it's hard to find your own original voice. I think Two-Rock is one of the companies like Mesa has, where they have found that original voice that's different and not just being a clone or a copy.
Yeah, totally. It was a completely different sound to my old Fenders and stuff as well. I loved it. Is that a 2x12, by the way?
That's their vertical 212, which is, for us, it's our most favorite popular format of the amp for them. It really gives it that voice. It's an oval opening, so it's got kind of some of the elements of a closed back and some of the elements of an open back in one. because we're an independent store and we don't have a corporate overlord, there's nothing in here we don't choose to be in here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we always look at it from the standpoint of everything in here, there is somebody that this is the ideal fit for.
Yeah.
And it's up to our staff when you come in and say, hey, I really need a thing that does this and this and that, to kind of translate that out to, okay, here's the 3 things that you should probably play that might be the best fit for you.
Yeah. Man, this room is just stunning. There's definitely a couple of guitars I want to play. There's a PRS down here and also a Suhr downstairs. We might start with the Tele because I haven't played in a little while. So let's go check it out. First time playing one of these car amps and it sounds great. This tremolo is really something else.
That's as telly as it gets, and the amp with the 2 10-inch speakers really packs a punch in the room. It sounds glassy, clean, clear. It's got that nice big bottom end. Beautiful.
George, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And thanks for having us through.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
This is the most impressive shop I've seen. Visually, it's unlike anything else, and the surrounding area also is unlike anywhere else I've seen. So, yeah, well done.
You have a heavy Texas accent, so you know this area. You're from this area, apparently.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. Just a little bit south.
South, okay.
Yeah, about 14,000 miles or whatever it is. But yeah, well done on the shop here. This is beautiful. What made you come up with this idea? We'll start with that.
You know, I have a good friend, Andy Timmons. You may know Andy. A lot of people know Andy. Truly my favorite guitar player, and a dear, dear friend. And so he and I were literally joking around one day. We were looking for the consummate delay pedal, something to replicate the old Memory Man, but had more functionality. So we started buying pedals from everywhere. Major manufacturer, little manufacturer, and trying to find that pedal. And one day I finally said, it'd be cheaper, I think, with all the pedals I'm buying. I think I'd just open a store and be a dealer. And that was a joke, obviously at a lunch one day. And by the next day I started thinking, why not think about a store? Because for me, really at the end of the day, I grew up as anyone my age, all independent guitar stores.
Yep.
And they were communities and people got together in those stores. You knew everybody and there was just a camaraderie and a sense of community that, in my mind, left to a great extent when big box, the guitar centers, the musicians, all of them, just the big box retail. It no different than in some ways you could say that the Home Depots and Lowe's of the world took away the small family-owned hardware store.
Yeah.
And so I missed that. I missed everything that went along with that. And so I wanted to open a place that that really re-invited that sense of community.
This must have been a project that took some time to put together. Just talk us through maybe the aesthetics of the place, because it's, again, unlike anywhere else I've seen.
I'm also a designer, builder, a developer, and so if I'm gonna do a store, I can't help myself. I want to do it architecturally. My goal was to, if you came in my store, I wanted you to be as impressed with the physical structure of the store, the architecture, the ambiance as you were with the instruments. Yeah. So I wanted a place that captured your attention and imagination when you walked in, and then as you looked at the guitars and pedals and amps within it, that same interest was there.
Yeah, the wow factor's like a 10. I walked in and I said to Rhiannon and Brian, I don't know where to look. It's just so different and it's beautiful. Like, you put a lot of thought into the switching systems in the amp room here, the acoustic room, the reflections in there are awesome. Everything's just so nice.
Everything is very deliberate. I mean, having these systems that we had, the design we gave, some additional specs that we were looking for.
Yep.
I wanted you to be able to plug into that switcher right there, and with a flick of a switch in a nanosecond, go from any amp on that wall to another amp, and any cabinet to another cabinet. And we have an effects loop that travels with whatever selection you're making. So, for me, I would go into any other store, and if I'm looking to check out and compare a couple amps, man, by the time I put the amp on standby and unplug and plug into the other, and especially if I'm wanting to hear from the same cabinet, half my lifetime's passed. I don't remember what the hell I just heard.
Yeah, and then the guys can't find the cables or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
so,
like, man.
So now I can be playing, mid-phrase and go from one to the other and just be able to hear it without losing, what I'm trying to compare it to that I just heard.
Brian mentioned you have a love for gear like the rest of us, which is good. You're not just the businessman, but you also obviously love everything that you put into the shop in terms of the gear. What's some of your favorite sort of stuff that really catches your ear when you plug in, or guitar wise, what are you a fan of?
Any and everything that's my criteria in the store when I started, what I wanted to fill the store with was instruments, pedals, and amps primarily from boutique builders that really were passionate about what they were doing. And obviously we still carry some main brands, Fender and whatnot, but we focus on the master build stuff, the custom shop stuff. PRS though, I mean, I was around when Paul was first starting. I was with Jimmy Wallace and helped introduce him to the world at the first guitar shows back in the mid '80s. But to your point about being excited and a gear guy, I spent 8 years as mayor in the city, fastest growing city in the country for many of those years. And my days were completely filled up until 2 months ago when I termed out. But I don't care what meeting I was in. I don't care what corporation was here and what $500 million deal I was talking about. If Brian called me and sent me a picture of some new incredibly cool guitar that just came in, your meeting was getting cut short with me. I wouldn't tell you that I was going to look at a guitar, but I would tell you, man, something just came up really important. I got to run.
Nice.
So I love people with passion that create things with passion. Turning a profit, all that. If you don't do that, you're not going to stay in business pursuing your passion. So you got to be profitably. There's got to be a business component, obviously, to it. But anything, whether it's necessarily my thing or not, if it's coming from somebody, whether we're talking about Nik Huber or Randall, of course, now Smith is no longer with Mesa Boogie, which is one of the biggest tragedies of the music industry in my mind. But when Randall was there and whatever new amp he was creating, my good buddy Steve Mueller and Andy Timmons, who would be beta testing them. Exciting every time something new came out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there anything in particular you want to share with anybody about the store that my jet lag might not be thinking of right now? Sorry, we're a little foggy still from the 25 hours.
We put a lot of effort in some of the brands we carry. Certainly, we're a major, I think maybe the largest PRS, largest Suhr dealer. Yeah. But there's some other smaller vendors and smaller builders, amp builders. Third Power. I started playing the Third Power amp. Love it. Matter of fact, I've been a Mesa Boogie person for 20 some years. But after what transpired, after they were purchased, I decided I wanted to play an amp coming from I'm going to not say what I was going to say.
I know what you mean.
I decided to go try some different things. And Third Power is an amp that I've really found to serve my purpose really, really well. Synergy is doing some super cool things in all their partnerships with different manufacturers, different builders, from Morgan to Saldano now
cool.
Whatnot. Different module preamps that you can put in their power section. So really cool, unique stuff that not everyone might be familiar with. Suhr is making some great amps, of course. Rock.
We got a rundown of one of those before.
There's some great stuff. And on the guitar side, Suhr, Andersen, Huber, PRS.
They're all beautiful.
Yeah.
We checked them out before. They got some way. I love Duesenberg. I love the Nik Hubers. They've got the Collings electrics, and you had actually an Australian-made Clarke in there I'd never seen before in Australia. So that was great.
I got a couple Clarks myself. I mean, I have a personal collection of probably about 125 guitars.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. And personal collection. And but I remember seeing, and I learned early on, maybe it was a poster or something I saw somewhere, and it was Albert Einstein, who of course brilliant man, and I respect Albert Einstein. And when I saw his quote that said, "How many guitars you need are equal to how many you have plus one," and so if Albert, believe that, then who the hell am I to not follow that advice?
My friend sends me that occasionally as a text message when he's going shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know what you're up to.
Someone asked me, do you need it? It's the plus one.
Yeah. That's
I gotta have it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. No, this was my pleasure. It's wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Brian was nice enough again to show us a little bit more around the store and some of those extra locations I was hinting at earlier.
Yeah, so we have our affectionately known bass lane. We do custom bass stuff as well from people like Dingwall Basses from out of Canada.
Yeah, wow.
That's with brands like Ibanez especially, we do a lot on their signature models and stuff.
Yeah,
so that's an Adam Nitty signature model there. Have some of the basses from Suhr. These are some of the, this is a Billy Sheehan Yamaha signature bass, and this is one of the John Patitucci 6 strings. Again, in that stuff where people go, God, I've always wanted to play one of those, but I've never found a store that actually had one.
Yeah.
So part of that idea. Custom stuff from Music Man, Brubaker basses out of Baltimore, Fender Custom Shop, and some of the Fender American Vintage things. And
it's beautiful, huh?
And then Ibanez stuff, our good friend Andy Timmons, who lives here in McKinney, and is a really, really great friend for the shop and ambassador of the shop. So we do a lot with all of his signature models.
Yeah, that's cool.
Things. Obviously, Joe Satriani and Steve Vai.
Yeah.
And Pat Metheny.
Oh, you got more acoustics up here too.
We do.
Yeah.
We have our Performance Academy space where we teach lessons for guitar and for vocal and for piano and for bass and for ukulele. So we wanted to have a selection of instruments for our students as well. Especially kind of in a curated sense. There's a lot of instruments in the lower price range, and a lot of them are really good these days.
Yep.
It can be overwhelming for the parents. And so we wanted to be able to have a selection of stuff where we can say, hey, we've taken the time to kind of distill down to the things that we really think are the best options or best values in these price ranges for you, especially for someone who's either a student that's just getting started, or maybe you've had your first guitar and you're looking for that first kind of step up instrument.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So goes hand in hand. Shane always jokes that we teach you to drive up here and then we put you in the Ferrari down there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
This is stuff I'd recommend. This is a GS Mini, right? The little guy? Yeah, you got the Pacifica here. Great guitar.
So lots of up here, stuff from our friends at PRS, things from their signature models like the Silver Sky or the Miles Kennedy and things. We like to get into kind of cool custom unique ones. This is a special hollow flake finish one we just got in yesterday.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So that one on stage with some nice lighting will light up, be a cool focal point for you.
Yeah. Wow.
A lot of their, USA models, things like Wood Library guitars and other kind of custom pieces. We'd like to focus on cool kind of unique finishes, and we're fortunate that our rep from PRS and the team at PRS know the kind of stuff we like. So we'll often get a call or I'll get a text message with a picture of a top and go, hey, what do you think about this one? And we have to say, yes, please send that one to us.
Beautiful.
But, lots of exquisite work from those guys.
Yeah. One of my local shops has got a really impressive line of PRS guitars, but this is like even better.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
We've had a really long relationship with them. George, through his work with the Dallas Guitar Show, dating all the way back to 1985, was one of the first people to really help kind of introduce Paul to Texas and to the West Coast. I used to work at a store in the DC area where Paul actually was a repair guy there before he built guitars. And because he got his start there in Maryland, his brand grew on the East Coast first because it was all the local players around, and then within a couple states and things, and then it slowly migrated across the West. And George and folks like Jimmy Wallace were really pivotal for Paul at showing him at the Dallas Guitar Show and being early adopters and early advocates for the guitars, and helped him kind of develop a presence and stuff here in Texas. Part of why you see a constant evolution from them of pickup changes and pickup designs or this or that or hardware changes is he's always looking for the next best way to make the guitar. They're not set to just make the same thing they've always made and do it over and over. So they're always changing pickups. They're always changing things because if they can make it 2% better, he'll make the change. They'll stop production and make a change to make something 2% better. Everything from little tiny screws in the bridge saddles to obviously all kinds of different voicings and the way that they make their pickups and how they wind them and the materials they use and the wire, and they chase every rabbit hole you can go down because if they can make it even just a little tiny bit better, that's always his quest. So I tell people all the time, their guitars are kind of like software. It's never finished. It's just what version or what revision we're on right now. It'll continue to evolve and continue to grow. And if they are working on one specific guitar project and learn something new about the way to make the pickup, they'll take that and then apply that across the whole line, any new thing that they're doing. And it's great when you can have a company like that where the guy who founded it is even maybe more passionate now than he was when they started, and is still there and is still hands-on and is still part of it every single day. He's not a figurehead. He's not just a social media graphic kind of thing. He's in there all the time, and he's constantly working on things. I'm a PRS owner and player myself, and every time I'll see Paul, he'll go, "Oh, you got to send your guitar back up to the factory. We got to do this two or three different things, or do this thing to it." And I'm going, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, we shaved off this thing in the way we do the saddle, And I'm like, "Really? I should send it back for that?" And he's like, "Trust me, you'll hear the difference."
I noticed you got a couple of beautiful lefties down here. I'd love to give one a shot if you don't.
Of course. That's part of the stuff we do with their wood library program, where that's some guitars that we had made to our spec.
That is beautiful.
And we do our best to try and keep a selection of cool lefties all the time. Obviously, lefties get the short shrift a lot of times in a lot of places and from a lot of vendors with it. And so we try and always have a selection of cool lefties there. And then we also do a lot of custom orders for folks with lefties where it's built to their spec.
The good news is there's not a left-handed Squire bullet with rusty strings with four strings left on the wall.
There's not.
These are killer. This plays so well. Far out. For those wondering, I'm talking to Rhiannon behind the camera. It just plays beautifully, man. They just set up like nothing else. That middle position's great.
People are doing weddings in the venue. This is the groom suite. Again, part of George's aesthetic with the custom stained glass and the door.
It's like we entered through a hidden door and just sort of it appeared.
Yeah, and you can actually look out into the store from here.
That is amazing.
I gotta do that shot.
That's great. Yeah, wow. Fantastic.
Wow.
This is beautiful. This is so unlike anything else we've seen.
The imagination, all the detail.
Yeah.
So our event center is a multi-purpose space.
Yeah.
People book it for weddings, wedding receptions, corporate events, parties.
Thanks.
There's a church that holds worship in here on Sundays and on Wednesday nights with them. And then we host concerts and clinics here.
Yeah.
So when you see the things about concerts on our website or clinics and stuff, this is where we do them. This is where we do the recitals for our Performance Academy students and things. So this is kind of our secret weapon space.
Well, you got like the $1 million lighting and a PA set up here too. This is like stunning. All controlled beautifully up here. Look at the stage. It's awesome.
Because the venue...
Sorry, I had to just do that.
Because our venue serves money purposes, we can't have a traditional soundboard location down in the middle of the floor. So we built this kind of crow's nest landing where we've got all of our controls for our lighting and for the audio system. We also have a 4-camera PTZ system in here, and we have a streaming console, so we can stream events, we can film events and record them. Things. We've done some stuff with Robert Keeley and Andy Timmons. They released a new pedal where we did a live stream to their YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, Andy's YouTube channel simultaneously as for the launch of the pedal and things.
That's awesome.
So it's a fortunate spot.
Yeah, wow, what a spot.
George even went into the attention to detail that the way the railing is designed, if you're here and you're sitting in a seat, you can see through the railing.
Yeah.
And it's a listening room environment. As we tell our patrons, we're a music venue that happens to have a bar. We're not a bar that happened to have music. We're really fortunate that our crowds come to listen to the musicians and listen to the bands and focus on them.
It's funny, it really has like an old feel, but it's so like it's not old. Yeah, it's got that classic sort of like, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like an old space looking at the stage. It looks like it's been there for 200 years.
We opened this building with the store and the sanctuary in October of 2013.
Okay. Wow.
With them. So we're 12 years into this space coming up.
Yeah, even all the metal here is all sort of tarnished, in a cool way. It looks beautiful. Yeah, very nice.
And then this is
wow, there's more?
For weddings, this is the bridal suite. For concerts, this is the green room for the band.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, it's a valuable green room.
So it's nice for it.
I think you'd be spoiling bands with this. This is...
Well, because George and Maylee are musicians, they know what it's like to be the band. Yeah. So they wanted to create a place that fans would love to come and watch a show, but they also wanted a place that the bands love to come and play a show. And so we're fortunate that we have a group of bands that have played here multiple times that, they circled that date on the calendar of like, oh, we're looking forward to coming back there.
Yeah, I bet.
Partially just because we put them up in a really nice surrounding and they're not stuck in a janitor's closet or something to get ready.
All right, thanks for watching, folks. My name's Shane. Thanks for all your help, Rhiannon.
You're welcome.
As always, the wizard behind the camera making it all happen. But a massive thanks to the folks here from Guitar Sanctuary for let us do this walkthrough. It was an absolute pleasure. This has some of the nicest vibe out of any of the guitar shops.
Yeah, amazing hospitality from these guys too.
This is the nicest, most knowledgeable people in a store I've seen in ages. Again, Brian's got like this encyclopedia knowledge of everything. I thought I knew gear. No, Brian knows a lot about everything and all the things that make things unique and special too. So it's a really great store. I highly encourage you to go check it out either online or if you're close to Dallas or McKinney, definitely come here if you haven't already. This is so special. This is a highlight for me.
Yeah.
We're in our first few days in the country here, and it's what a store. And I still want that PRS.
I bet.
Take my credit card quick. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
And that wraps up another Guitar Search Saturdays episode. A massive thanks to all the Patreon crew and YouTube members for their continued support. If you want to learn more about that, I'll link down to both in the description. Now, I've just moved all of my Guitar Search Saturday t-shirts and In the Blues t-shirts over to Fourth Wall. And if you do buy one, I'll reply with a video message. That's right, I do it for everybody. So thank you again for everybody for supporting In the Blues.
I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Share it around with your friends. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for your time, and I will catch you on the next one.